Hello everyone. Welcome back to MindPop English. I am Angela, your host for today. Have you ever found yourself watching an English movie or listening to a podcast and thinking, why can't I understand a single word? You are not alone. Millions of English learners around the world struggle with fast English, even when they know all the grammar rules and vocabulary. Today, I am going to reveal a secret method to help you understand fast English instantly and train your ears to think like a native speaker. By the end of this video, you will discover techniques that make listening easier, more natural, and even enjoyable. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that native speakers sometimes sound like they are speaking a completely different language? Words seem to blend together, sentences fly by, and you feel lost in translation. That is normal. The problem isn't your intelligence or your ability to learn English. The real issue is your ear training. Your brain is not yet fully tuned to the rhythm, sounds, and patterns of natural English. And today, I am going to show you exactly how to fix it. Before we dive into exercises, let's take a moment to understand why fast English feels so difficult. Native English speakers do not pronounce each word clearly and separately. Instead, they use connected speech, which means words are linked together, vowels are often reduced, and some sounds are even dropped. For example, what are you going to do? Often sounds like, whatcha gonna do? This is why you might feel like you only hear half of the sentence. But don't worry, once you learn how to recognize these patterns, listening becomes much easier, and your understanding will improve almost instantly. Now imagine this. You are watching a popular English YouTube channel, and the speaker talks fast. At first, you might feel overwhelmed, but as we train your ears together, suddenly you notice that some words are familiar, some sounds repeat, and you can start predicting what comes next. That is the magic of ear training. It is not about memorizing every word, it is about learning to recognize sounds, patterns, and the flow of English. Today, I will show you exercises that target exactly this skill. And the best part? You can start applying them immediately, no matter your current level. Let's start with the first step, which I call the sound awareness technique. This exercise is simple, yet extremely powerful. Pick a short audio clip in English, anything from a YouTube video, a podcast, or a conversation you like. Play it slowly and listen carefully to how words connect. Don't worry about understanding every single word at first. Instead, focus on the sounds and rhythm. Notice how I am going to becomes I'm gonna. Notice how did you becomes do you. By doing this repeatedly, your brain starts to recognize these patterns automatically, even when the speaker speeds up. It's like learning a secret code that native speakers use every day. Next, we move to the predict and fill method. This is where your brain starts working like a detective. While listening, try to predict what the speaker is going to say next. For example, if the speaker says, I went to the store to, you can guess that the next word might be buy or get something. Don't worry if you are wrong at first. The goal is to engage your brain actively. Active listening makes your brain more alert and helps you catch more words in fast English. Over time, your brain starts predicting naturally, and suddenly, understanding fast English feels almost effortless. Now, let's talk about shadowing, one of the most effective techniques to train your ears like a native speaker. Shadowing means listening to a sentence or short phrase and then immediately repeating it aloud, trying to match the pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation exactly. Don't worry about understanding every word initially. Focus on matching the sounds. This exercise does two amazing things. First, it improves your listening because you start noticing subtle sounds that you previously ignored. Second, it improves your speaking because your mouth learns the natural rhythm and flow of English. After just a few weeks of consistent shadowing, you will notice a huge improvement in both understanding and speaking. But here is the secret part that many learners miss. It is not enough to practice just one method. To truly understand fast English instantly, you need a combination of techniques: sound awareness, prediction, and shadowing. When you use them together, your brain becomes faster at recognizing words, predicting sentences, and reproducing sounds. This makes listening to fast English not just possible, but enjoyable. You start to feel more confident, more comfortable, and more connected to real English, exactly like a native speaker. Now, before we move to part 2, here is a quick tip to get even faster results. Focus on content that interests you. If you enjoy what you are listening to, whether it's a movie, podcast, or YouTube video, your brain naturally pays more attention. The more attention you give, the faster your ear training works. So, pick topics you love and start training your ears today. You'll be amazed at how quickly your understanding improves. Welcome back. Now that you understand why fast English feels difficult and how your brain needs training, let's dive into specific exercises you can start practicing today. In this part, we will focus on real examples, practical techniques, and step-by-step methods that make understanding fast English much easier. These exercises are designed for beginners, intermediate learners, and advanced learners alike. No matter your level, you will find them useful. First, let's start with a simple listening exercise. I want you to take a short English audio clip, ideally one that is 30 to 60 seconds long. It can be a YouTube clip, a news segment, or a short dialogue. Listen to it without subtitles and just try to catch the words you already know. Don't get frustrated if you understand only a few words. That is normal. This exercise trains your brain to focus on familiar sounds in fast speech. Now, here comes the key step. Play the same clip slowly using any speed control tool. Most YouTube videos allow you to slow down playback. Listen carefully to how each word is pronounced, how words link together, and how some sounds disappear. For example, in the sentence, "I don't know what he is doing," you might hear it pronounced like, "I don't know wha he's doin'." At first it may sound strange, but with repeated listening, your ear begins to recognize these patterns automatically. This is the foundation of fast English comprehension. Next, we move to a slightly more advanced technique called the chunking method. Instead of trying to understand each word individually, you focus on groups of words that form meaningful chunks. For example, instead of breaking down, "I'm going to the store to buy some bread," word by word, you recognize chunks like, "I'm going to the store and buy some bread." Your brain processes these chunks much faster than single words, and this is exactly how native speakers think. By practicing chunking regularly, your listening speed will improve drastically. Let's combine chunking with shadowing. Pick a short sentence from your audio clip and repeat it aloud immediately after listening. Try to imitate the rhythm, stress, and intonation exactly like the native speaker. For example, if the speaker says, "I can't believe you did that," you should try to match the speed and natural flow. "I can't believe you did that." Don't worry about making mistakes at first. The goal is to train your brain and mouth together. Shadowing not only improves listening comprehension, but also builds your speaking confidence, which is essential for real-world English communication. Now, let's talk about prediction practice, which is incredibly powerful. While listening to a clip, pause before the speaker finishes a sentence and guess what comes next. For instance, if you hear, "I was so tired yesterday, you might predict, went to bed early or fell asleep on the couch." This activates your brain and forces it to think like a native speaker. Over time, your mind starts predicting naturally, even when the speech is fast. Prediction is one of the secrets used by advanced English learners and professional interpreters. It may feel challenging at first, but it works like magic if practiced consistently. To make this even more effective, I suggest combining these 3 exercises: listening slowly, chunking, and shadowing with prediction. Here's how a practice session can look. Choose a short audio clip, 30–60 seconds. Listen once at normal speed, focusing on familiar words. Listen again at slower speed, paying attention to connected speech and sounds. Break the clip into chunks of 3–5 words and repeat each chunk aloud, shadowing. Pause occasionally and predict what comes next before listening further. Repeat the full clip at normal speed and try to understand as much as possible. If you do this daily for just 10–15 minutes, your ability to understand fast English instantly will improve significantly. Many learners notice improvement in just a few days because their brains start recognizing patterns automatically. Another technique I recommend is active listening with transcripts. If you have access to a transcript of the audio clip, use it after your initial listening and shadowing practice. Read along silently while listening to the clip again. Highlight words that were difficult to catch or link together. Notice how certain words are reduced or blended. This reinforces the learning and helps your brain make strong connections between sounds and words. The combination of listening, predicting, shadowing, and reading is extremely powerful. It accelerates your comprehension faster than passive listening alone. Finally, let's talk about practical application in daily life. Fast English is not just something you practice in front of the screen. Try to incorporate it into your everyday routine. Listen to English songs, podcasts, or YouTube videos during your commute. Repeat sentences aloud while cooking or walking. Even a few minutes a day adds up. Consistent exposure to natural English improves your ear training, strengthens memory, and helps your brain process language like a native speaker. Remember, the goal is not perfection. You don't need to understand every single word immediately. The goal is continuous improvement and brain training. With time, you will notice a difference. Sentences will start to make sense instantly. Speech will feel natural, and your confidence will soar. Welcome back to our masterclass. Now that you know the key exercises to train your ears listening slowly, chunking, shadowing, and prediction, let's take it to the next level. In this part, we will practice real-life English conversations, interactive exercises, and smart tips to remember words and phrases while listening to fast speech. This will help you connect your listening skills with real communication. Let's start with a common conversation scenario: ordering food at a restaurant. Imagine the waiter speaks quickly. Waiter. Hi. Are you ready to order or do you need a few more minutes? You might hear it like, Hi. You ready to order or need a few more mins? Notice how are you becomes you and minutes is shortened to mins. Here's how we practice. Listen and chunk. Break the sentence into small pieces. Hi, you ready to order? Or need a few more mins? Shadow and repeat. Say each chunk aloud immediately after hearing it. Predict and fill. Before the waiter finishes, try to guess what comes next. Or do you need a few more minutes? This simple 3-step method improves your comprehension even when English is spoken naturally and fast. Now, let's try another interactive exercise for daily conversations. I will give you a short clip of a dialogue between two friends. Friend 1. Hey, did you watch the new series on Netflix last night? Friend 2. Yeah, it was amazing. I couldn't stop watching. At fast speed, this might sound like, Hey, did I watch the new series on Netflix last night? Yeah, it was amazing. I couldn't stop watching. Here's your practice. First, listen. Try to catch familiar words like Netflix or amazing. Chunking. Group phrases. Hey, do you watch the new series on Netflix last night? Shadowing. Repeat each chunk aloud. Focus on natural rhythm and stress. Prediction. Pause before the second speaker finishes and guess their response. You might predict, I liked it too, or it was great. By practicing with real conversations, your brain starts thinking in English, not translating word by word. This is how advanced learners understand fast English almost instantly. Next, let's talk about memorizing vocabulary while listening. One of the biggest challenges is remembering words when speech is fast. Here's a technique called listen and link. Pick a short audio sentence. Identify 1 or 2 new words or phrases. Create a mental image or story connecting these words to something you already know. For example, in the sentence, I was blown away by the performance, you might not know blown away. Visualize someone literally being blown off their chair by excitement. Every time you hear blown away, your brain recalls the image instantly. This technique accelerates vocabulary retention even while listening at native speed. Now, let's move on to listening comprehension drills. I will guide you through a simple exercise you can do daily. Choose a short audio clip, 1-2 minutes long. Follow these steps. First, listen. Passive. Listen without worrying about understanding everything. Just get the gist. Second, listen. Active. Focus on key words, phrases, and chunks. Write down what you hear. Don't worry about every single word. Third, listen. Shadowing. Repeat the entire clip aloud, matching the speaker's pace and intonation. Fourth, listen. Prediction. Pause before the speaker finishes sentences and try to predict the ending. This method is extremely effective because it trains your ear, mouth, and brain simultaneously. It also makes your learning dynamic, not passive, which is why advanced learners improve faster than casual listeners. Here's another tip to train your brain for instant comprehension. Focus on linking sounds instead of spelling. Many learners struggle because they try to read words in their head as they hear them. Native English is sound-based, not letter-based. For example, going to, gonna, want to, wanna, did you, do. By training your ear to recognize sound patterns, you will understand sentences immediately without translating them into your native language. This is one of the fastest ways to improve listening comprehension for B1-C2 learners. Finally, let's practice mini stories. Listening to connected sentences in context helps your brain predict words, recognize chunks, and remember vocabulary. For example, yesterday, I went to the market. I saw so many fresh fruits. The apples looked amazing, and I couldn't resist buying some. On my way home, I met my friend, and we shared the fruits together. At natural speed, this might sound like, yesterday, I went to the market, saw so many fresh fruits. Apples looked amazing, couldn't resist buying some. On my way home, met my friend, we shared the fruits together. Practice chunking, shadowing, and prediction with this mini story. Repeat it several times, and soon your brain will catch words and phrases in real time without hesitation. Welcome back. Now that you've practiced chunking, shadowing, prediction, and mini stories, it's time to take your listening skills to the next level. In this part, we will focus on advanced strategies, long-term listening habits, and techniques to maintain focus while training your ears. These are crucial for anyone who wants to understand fast English effortlessly and think like a native speaker. First, let's talk about using podcasts and series for real-world training. Podcasts are ideal because native speakers speak naturally, and topics are diverse. But beginners and intermediate learners often struggle because podcasts are long and fast. Here's how to use them effectively. Choose the right podcast. Pick topics you enjoy. It can be science, daily news, culture, or entertainment. When you are interested in the topic, your brain is more attentive and retains more information. Segment your listening. Don't try to listen to a 30-minute podcast all at once. Break it into 2 3-minute sections. Focus on one segment at a time. Listen multiple times using the techniques we discussed: chunking, shadowing, and prediction. Active engagement. Pause frequently, repeat phrases, and write down key words. This ensures your listening is active, not passive. Passive listening won't train your brain efficiently. Next, let's discuss the focus window technique, which is essential for understanding fast English. Research shows that your brain can focus intensely for about 10-15 minutes before it starts losing concentration. During this period, use short, focused listening sessions. For example, listen to a 3-minute clip with full attention, then take a short break. Repeat several cycles. This keeps your brain alert and ensures that your ear training is effective and sustainable. Another advanced strategy is varied speed listening. This method improves your ability to understand speech at different speeds. Start by listening to a clip slowly to catch every word. Then, gradually increase the speed until it matches native conversation. You will notice that your brain starts adapting naturally. Over time, even extremely fast English will feel normal, and you won't feel lost in conversations or media. Now, let's talk about context clues, one of the most powerful tools for instant comprehension. Even if you miss a few words, you can guess meaning based on context. Native speakers often rely on context rather than understanding every word. For example, I was exhausted after running the marathon, but the finish line was worth it. Even if you only catch exhausted and marathon, your brain can predict the rest. By practicing this skill daily, you train your brain to fill in gaps, making fast English easier to understand naturally. Next, we move to listening for intonation and stress, which are key markers in English. In English, important words are stressed, while less important words are often reduced or blended. For example, I didn't say he stole the money. Depending on which words are stressed, the meaning changes. Listening carefully to stress patterns helps you understand nuances and emphasis, which is often the difference between partial comprehension and full understanding in fast English. Let's also cover repetition with variation, which is highly effective for long-term improvement. Don't just repeat the same clip the same way every day. Try different angles. Listen and shadow with natural speed. Listen and repeat, focusing only on stressed words. Listen again and try to predict missing words before they are spoken. By varying your practice, your brain becomes more flexible and able to handle new situations. This prevents plateauing, which is common when learners only repeat the same method over and over. Another tip is to use subtitles strategically. Start by listening without subtitles. Then, use English subtitles to check what you missed. Avoid translating into your native language. Reading in English reinforces your listening comprehension and connects spoken sounds to written words, strengthening your memory. Finally, let's talk about making listening part of your daily routine. The key to mastering fast English is consistency. Here are some practical ways. Listen to English while commuting, cooking, or exercising. Repeat short clips multiple times throughout the day. Keep a small notebook or app to jot down new words or phrases and review them weekly. Challenge yourself with slightly faster clips over time to push your limits. By turning listening practice into a habit, your brain adapts to natural English effortlessly. After weeks of consistent practice, you will notice that fast English is no longer intimidating. You will understand phrases instantly, think in English naturally, and feel confident in both listening and speaking. In summary, Part 4 introduced long-term strategies, using podcasts and series, short focused listening sessions, varied speed listening, using context clues, focusing on intonation and stress, repetition with variation, strategic subtitles, and daily routines. All of these together build a strong foundation for fast English comprehension, helping you think, predict, and respond like a native speaker. Welcome back. Now that you've learned long-term strategies for listening, it's time to take your skills even higher. In this part, we will focus on advanced listening techniques, handling longer dialogues, and mastering tricky words or phrases that often slow learners down. By the end of this section, you will be able to process fast English naturally, just like a native speaker. Let's begin with listening to longer conversations. Many learners understand short clips but struggle with extended dialogues, such as interviews, podcasts, or TV shows. The trick is not to focus on every single word, but on the main ideas and patterns. For example, if you are listening to a 5-minute interview, identify key themes first: who is speaking, what they are discussing, and the main opinions or actions. Here's a practical exercise. Listen once for the gist. Identify the topic, speakers, and main points. Listen again and highlight key phrases. Focus on expressions, repeated words, or linking words like however, actually, in fact, and meanwhile. Break down complex sentences into chunks. Long sentences often contain multiple ideas. For example, I was planning to go to the gym yesterday, but it started raining heavily, so I decided to stay home and watch a documentary instead. Chunking can make this manageable. I was planning to go to the gym yesterday, but it started raining heavily, so I decided to stay home and watch a documentary instead. By practicing chunking with long sentences, your brain can process multiple ideas simultaneously instead of getting lost in the speed of speech. Next, let's tackle tricky words and reductions, which often confuse learners. English is full of words that change pronunciation in fast speech. Going to, gonna, want to, wanna, let me, give me, gimme. Here's how to train your ear for these. Make a list of common reductions and listen for them in podcasts, shows, or YouTube clips. Shadow them repeatedly in different contexts. Try to predict these reductions while listening naturally. The more you expose yourself to these sounds, the faster your comprehension will become. Remember, even advanced learners improve dramatically by mastering reductions and linking sounds. Now let's talk about handling unknown words during fast listening. Don't stop every time you hear a word you don't know. Instead, focus on context. The surrounding words often give you clues about the meaning. Infer from patterns. Recognize the grammatical function noun, verb, adjective, so your brain can predict possible meanings. Mark and review. Note unknown words after listening and check them later. Avoid pausing in the middle of the clip. It breaks the flow of listening. This strategy trains your brain to understand the message even without knowing every word, just like native speakers do. Another important technique is listening for transitions and connectors. Words like first, then, however, in addition, or as a result give structure to conversations and help you follow the speaker's logic. Advanced listeners often rely on these markers to anticipate the next part of the sentence. Practicing this technique makes fast English predictable and easier to understand. Let's also explore interactive listening drills with pauses. You can take any video or audio clip and listen for 5-10 seconds. Pause and try to summarize what you just heard. Predict what might come next. Resume listening to check your prediction. This drill trains your working memory and prediction skills simultaneously. Over time, your brain starts processing long sentences in chunks and anticipating content, which is exactly how native speakers listen naturally. Next, I want to introduce multi-speed listening. Start with slow speed to recognize words, then gradually increase speed. But here's the advanced twist. Slow speed first. Focus on sounds, reductions, and chunking. Normal speed. Shadow and repeat full sentences. Slightly faster than normal. Train your brain to process unexpected rapid speech. By practicing slightly faster than normal, your brain adapts quickly, and even naturally fast English will soon feel comfortable. Now, let's practice with a real-life extended scenario, a conversation between two colleagues at work. Colleague 1. Hey, did you finish the report for the meeting this afternoon? Colleague 2. I was almost done, but I had to redo the last section because the data from finance didn't match our calculations. I'll have it ready in an hour. At natural speed, this might sound like, hey, do you finish the report for the meeting this afternoon? I was almost done, but I had to redo the last section 'Cause the data from finance didn't match our calculations. I'll have it ready in an hour. Here's how to practice. Chunk the dialogue. Hey, do you finish the report for the meeting this afternoon? I was almost done, but I had to redo the last section. 'Cause the data from finance didn't match our calculations. I'll have it ready in an hour. Shadow each chunk aloud, matching rhythm and stress. Predict next parts. Before colleague 2 finishes, try to guess the explanation or response. Summarize mentally. After listening, summarize the conversation in English in 1 or 2 sentences. This method trains your brain to understand multiple ideas in a single sentence, handle reductions, and process extended dialogues efficiently. Finally, let's talk about building listening stamina. Long conversations, meetings, and podcasts require concentration. Here's the strategy. Start with short clips, 1-2 minutes. Gradually increase to 5-10 minutes as your focus improves. Take notes on keywords or main ideas to reinforce memory. Practice multiple times per day if possible. Consistency is key. Over time, your brain will naturally process fast English without effort, your confidence will grow, and you'll feel comfortable in real-life conversations, movies, and podcasts. Welcome back. By now, you've practiced chunking, shadowing, prediction, multi-speed listening, and handling extended dialogues. In this part, we will focus on supercharging your listening skills, learning vocabulary while listening, and applying these techniques across any type of English content. These strategies will take your comprehension to a professional level and make understanding fast English feel effortless. Let's start with listening for vocabulary in context. One of the biggest challenges learners face is hearing new words in fast speech and forgetting them immediately. Here's a strategy called active vocabulary capture. While listening, identify words or phrases you don't fully understand. Pause briefly and repeat the word aloud, mimicking pronunciation and stress. Quickly think of a synonym or visual image that helps you remember it. For example, if you hear, "The project was delayed due to unforeseen circumstances," you might pause at "unforeseen circumstances" and imagine a roadblock or sudden storm. This mental image strengthens your memory. Repeat the word or phrase several times during shadowing. Doing this consistently allows you to learn new vocabulary while listening without slowing down your comprehension. Next, we will discuss multi-context listening. This is about practicing the same words or phrases in different situations. For instance, the phrase "get things done" can appear in casual conversation, business meetings, or educational content. Hear it in multiple contexts. Casual: "I need to get things done before dinner." Business: "Our team needs to get things done by Friday." Instructional: "To get things done efficiently, follow this method." By exposing yourself to varied contexts, your brain recognizes words automatically, even when speakers talk fast or reduce sounds. This also trains your mind to predict meaning in real time, a key skill for advanced listening. Now, let's move to speed comprehension drills. These are short exercises designed to push your brain to process information faster. Pick a short audio clip, about 30-60 seconds. Listen at normal speed first and try to understand the gist. Listen at slightly faster speed and catch as many words as possible. Shadow the speaker, mimicking pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. Repeat one more time at even faster speed while focusing on main ideas and key phrases. This drill may feel challenging initially, but it trains your brain to process fast English naturally. After a few weeks, even long and complex conversations will feel much easier to follow. Another important technique is chunk expansion. You already know how to chunk sentences into small units. Now, try to combine chunks into longer phrases while listening. For example, original sentence: I couldn't attend the meeting yesterday because I was sick, but I will catch up with the notes later. Step 1. Chunk. I couldn't attend the meeting yesterday because I was sick, but I will catch up with the notes later. Step 2. Expand while listening. Listen and repeat all 3 chunks smoothly in one sentence. Focus on rhythm, stress, and linking sounds. By practicing chunk expansion, your brain learns to process longer ideas without breaking comprehension, which is essential for fast English in podcasts, interviews, or movies. Now, let's cover applying techniques to all types of content, whether it's news, movies, podcasts, lectures, or YouTube videos. The approach is similar. Preview the content. Quickly look at titles, subtitles, or topic summaries. This primes your brain. Active listening. Use chunking, shadowing, prediction, and speed drills. Capture new vocabulary. Pause and repeat unfamiliar words. Link them to images or synonyms. Review and repeat. Listen multiple times, gradually increasing speed. This universal approach ensures you can adapt your listening skills to any English situation, from casual conversation to professional meetings. Let's also discuss mindful listening for tricky reductions. Fast English often contains reductions that are easy to miss. Examples include, would you like to? Would you like to? I have to. I have to. I'm going to. I'm gonna. Here's the practice. Listen to a clip and write down reductions you hear. Shadow them aloud, mimicking the exact sound. Incorporate these reductions into your own speaking practice. This bridges listening and speaking, making you more fluent and comfortable with natural English. Finally, let's talk about daily listening habits for mastery. Consistency is the most important factor in understanding fast English. Dedicate 15-30 minutes daily to focused listening. Alternate between short, intense sessions and longer, immersive sessions. Record yourself shadowing, then compare with the original to refine rhythm and pronunciation. Gradually increase the complexity of content as your skills improve. By combining these habits with all the techniques we've discussed, chunking, shadowing, prediction, vocabulary capture, multi-context listening, speed drills, chunk expansion, and mindful reductions, you will reach a level where fast English feels natural and your brain processes it instantly. In summary, Part 6 focused on advanced listening strategies, capturing vocabulary while listening, practicing words in multiple contexts, speed comprehension drills, chunk expansion, applying techniques to any content, mindful listening for reductions, and establishing daily habits. These strategies are designed to take your listening skills from intermediate to advanced and give you the confidence to understand fast English like a native speaker. Welcome back! Now that you've mastered advanced listening strategies, speed comprehension drills, chunk expansion, and vocabulary capture, It's time to bring these skills into real-life communication. In this part, we'll focus on high-level dialogue practice, listening to longer conversations, and combining listening with quick speaking responses, which is essential for fluency and understanding fast English naturally. Let's start with a professional conversation scenario, a typical workplace meeting. Imagine two colleagues discussing a project deadline. Colleague 1, I noticed that the presentation slides still need a few updates. Are you able to finish them before the client call this afternoon? Colleague 2, yes, I'm working on the charts right now. I'll also make sure the financial figures are accurate so we won't run into any problems during the presentation. At normal speed, this might sound like, I noticed the presentation slides still need a few updates. Are you able to finish them before the client call this afternoon? Yes, I'm working on the charts right now. I'll also make sure the financial figures are accurate so we won't run into any problems during the presentation. Here's how to practice. Chunk the sentences. Break down long sentences into manageable parts. I noticed the presentation slides still need a few updates. Are you able to finish them before the client call this afternoon? I'm working on the charts right now. I'll also make sure the financial figures are accurate, so we won't run into any problems during the presentation. Shadow aloud. Repeat each chunk immediately after the speaker, matching pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. Predict and respond. Pause before the second speaker finishes and predict what they might say. This builds anticipation skills and helps your brain process fast speech naturally. Simulate conversation. After listening and shadowing, respond aloud as if you were part of the conversation. For example, great, thanks. I'll review the slides once you finish. This combines listening comprehension with real-time speaking practice. Next, let's try a social scenario meeting friends or chatting casually. Friend 1, hey, did you catch the game last night? Friend 2, yeah, it was incredible. I can't believe the last-minute goal. At natural speed. Hey, did you catch the game last night? Yeah, it was incredible. I can't believe the last-minute goal. Here's how to practice. Chunk and shadow. Hey, did you catch the game last night? Yeah, it was incredible. I can't believe the last-minute goal. Predict. Before the second speaker finishes, guess what they might say? It must have been exciting, or who scored? Respond naturally. Practice quick replies. I know, right? That goal was amazing. This trains your brain to process fast English in real-time conversations, not just passive listening. Now, let's discuss listening for idioms and expressions, which are often challenging in fast speech. Native speakers use idiomatic expressions constantly, and understanding them instantly is a major step toward fluency. Examples: hit the ground running, start something immediately with energy, under the weather, feeling sick, piece of cake, very easy, practice technique. Identify an idiom in a clip, listen and shadow it multiple times at natural speed. Use it in your own sentences to reinforce memory and comprehension. By learning idioms in context, you'll understand native speakers faster because your brain no longer pauses to translate meaning. Next, let's focus on extended dialogues and multi-speaker listening. In real life, conversations often involve 3-4 people talking quickly, like group discussions or podcasts. Here's how to practice. Identify the speaker. Pay attention to voices, tone, and context to know who is speaking. Listen for main ideas. Don't try to catch every word. Focus on key points. Chunk by speaker. Separate each speaker's ideas into short segments and shadow them individually. Predict responses. Try to anticipate what each speaker will say next. This method trains your brain to switch attention quickly and understand fast English even in complex conversations. Another advanced technique is real-time summarization. While listening, try to summarize small portions of dialogue mentally. For example, after 10-15 seconds of a conversation, ask yourself, who is speaking? What is happening? What is the speaker's opinion or action? This forces your brain to actively process information instead of passively hearing words, and it dramatically improves comprehension in fast English. Finally, let's combine everything with interactive speaking drills. Pick a dialogue from a clip or podcast. Follow these steps. Listen and chunk each sentence. Shadow aloud, matching pronunciation and rhythm. Pause and predict what comes next. Speak your own response aloud. Repeat at gradually increasing speed. This drill simulates real-life conversations and helps you respond quickly while still understanding fast English. Over time, your brain will process speech, predict phrases, and respond naturally, all at native speed. By practicing these techniques daily, you'll notice a huge improvement in your listening comprehension and speaking confidence. Conversations that once felt impossible will now feel natural. You will understand not only words, but also intonation, idioms, and subtle nuances exactly how native speakers communicate. Welcome back! Now that you've practiced high-level dialogue, multi-speaker conversations, idioms, and real-time responses, it's time to focus on advanced listening strategies for fluency, vocabulary, and long-term retention. In this part, we will combine techniques to help you reach C1, C2 listening mastery, enabling you to understand fast English in any situation, from academic lectures to professional meetings and casual conversations. Let's start with listening for key phrases and transitions. Native speakers often use connectors and filler phrases that indicate the flow of a conversation, such as a matter of fact, on the other hand, in other words. At the end of the day, recognizing these phrases quickly helps your brain predict the direction of the conversation, even when the speech is very fast. Practice technique. Listen to a fast clip and write down these connectors when you hear them. Shadow the phrases aloud multiple times. Predict the next sentence or idea using the connector as a guide. This trains your brain to process the logic of speech rather than individual words, which is crucial for understanding fast English instantly. Next, let's discuss vocabulary integration while listening. At advanced levels, it's not enough to just recognize words. You need to understand them in context and be able to recall them instantly. Here's a method called listen, link, and recall. Pick an audio clip with slightly challenging vocabulary. While listening, identify 2-3 new words or phrases. Link each word to a mental image, synonym, or real-life situation. Shadow the sentence, repeating the word naturally in context. After listening, recall the words aloud without looking at notes. For example, in the sentence, the committee deliberated extensively before reaching a consensus. You might link deliberated with an image of people discussing carefully. Repeating it in context helps your brain remember the meaning and sound simultaneously, even in fast speech. Now, let's move to multi-speaker real-life dialogues. Many learners struggle when 3-4 people speak quickly in group discussions. To train your brain, identify each speaker's voice and role. Listen for key ideas rather than every word. Break down each speaker's sentences into chunks. Shadow and summarize aloud after short segments. Predict what each speaker might say next. This method builds cognitive flexibility. Your brain becomes capable of switching attention and processing multiple fast speakers naturally. Another technique is fast response drills. This is where listening and speaking combine in real time. Listen to a short dialogue. Pause before the second speaker finishes. Respond aloud naturally, using vocabulary and phrases you've learned. Resume the clip to check if your prediction matches the response. Over time, your brain learns to anticipate speech and formulate answers instantly, exactly like native speakers do in real-life conversations. Let's also talk about shadowing with emotion and intonation. Advanced listening isn't just about catching words, it's about understanding meaning through tone, stress, and rhythm. For example, "I can't believe you did that!" Surprised, shocked tone. "I can't believe you did that!" Neutral, factual tone. Practice. Listen to the sentence carefully. Shadow aloud, matching not just words but tone and emphasis. Repeat multiple times, experimenting with slight variations. This trains your brain to process both language and emotion, improving comprehension in fast, natural English. Now, let's discuss listening for academic or professional content. Many learners struggle with lectures, presentations, and news reports because the speech is fast and filled with technical vocabulary. Here's a strategy. Preview the content. Read titles, subtitles, or summaries. This primes your brain. Listen for main ideas. Focus on topic sentences, key points, and transitions. Chunk sentences and shadow. Break complex sentences into smaller segments and repeat aloud. Predict and paraphrase. Pause to predict what comes next and summarize in your own words. This method allows you to capture the essence of complex English quickly without needing to understand every single word. Next, let's talk about incremental speed training. Even if you can understand normal speed English, faster speech can still feel overwhelming. Gradually increase speed using these steps. Start with normal speed. Understand fully. Increase 5–10% faster. Focus on main ideas and key phrases. Push slightly beyond natural speed. Use prediction and chunking to catch essential information. This accelerates your brain's ability to process language and prepares you for real-life fast conversations, interviews, and live broadcasts. Finally, let's focus on long-term mastery and habit formation. Dedicate 20–30 minutes daily to focused listening. Alternate between short, intense sessions and long, immersive sessions. Keep a vocabulary journal and integrate new words into shadowing practice. Practice multi-speaker and extended dialogues regularly. Challenge yourself with faster content gradually by consistently applying all techniques: chunking, shadowing, prediction, vocabulary integration, multi-speaker practice, emotional intonation, and speed drills. You will reach C1–C2 listening mastery. Fast English will feel natural, you'll understand both words and meaning instantly, and you'll be ready to respond fluently in any situation. Welcome back. By now, you've practiced advanced listening strategies, vocabulary integration, multi-speaker dialogues, shadowing with emotion, and incremental speed training. In this part, we will synthesize all techniques into a complete listening plan, show you how to apply them in daily life, and provide tips to maintain fast English comprehension over the long term. Let's start by creating a structured listening routine. A consistent plan is the key to mastering fast English. Here's an example of a daily routine you can follow. Warm up, 5 minutes. Listen to a short, familiar clip at normal speed. Focus on catching main ideas and key words. This primes your brain for more intense practice. Chunking and shadowing, 10 minutes. Pick a slightly longer clip, 1-2 minutes. Break it into chunks of 3-5 words, then shadow each chunk aloud, mimicking pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. Repeat multiple times. Prediction drills, 5 minutes. Pause before the speaker finishes sentences and guess what comes next. Then resume to check your prediction. This trains your brain to anticipate words, a crucial skill for fast English. Speed comprehension, 10 minutes. Listen to the same clip at slightly faster speed, focusing on capturing key phrases and overall meaning. Gradually push beyond normal speed as your ear adapts. Vocabulary capture, 5-10 minutes. Identify 2-3 new words or phrases from the clip. Shadow them in context, create a mental image or synonym, and recall them aloud after listening. Review and summarize, 5 minutes. Summarize the clip in your own words, either mentally or aloud. Focus on main ideas, transitions, and tone. This strengthens comprehension and memory. This routine, totaling about 40-45 minutes daily, combines all techniques you've learned so far and ensures consistent, measurable progress. You can adjust the duration based on your schedule, but the key is daily practice. Next, let's focus on combining listening with speaking for real-life application. Many learners can understand fast English, but hesitate to speak. To overcome this, use the following method. Shadow first. Repeat the speaker's sentence immediately, matching rhythm and stress. Predict next. Pause and anticipate the next sentence. Respond naturally. Create your own response aloud, as if you are part of the conversation. Check and adjust. Listen to the original clip to ensure your phrasing, pronunciation, and meaning are correct. This method builds both comprehension and real-time responsibility, making you confident in professional meetings, casual conversations, or interviews. Now, let's discuss multi-context exposure. Understanding fast English requires listening to variety, not just one type of content. Include podcasts, news, storytelling, interviews, YouTube videos, tutorials, reviews, vlogs, movies and series, dialogue, heavy content for natural speech patterns, lectures or webinars, formal speech for advanced vocabulary and structure. By varying your listening sources, your brain learns to adapt to different accents, speeds, and vocabulary, which is essential for real-world comprehension. Another powerful strategy is predictive listening in context. While listening, try to anticipate the topic or theme of the conversation, key words or expressions that might appear next, the speaker's intention or opinion. For example, if you hear, "I couldn't attend the seminar yesterday because," you might predict the continuation. "I was feeling unwell," or "my schedule was packed." This technique improves your processing speed and builds natural understanding of fast English. Next, let's address tracking improvements and self-assessment to ensure continuous progress. Record yourself shadowing and responding to clips. Compare your pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation to the original. Keep a log of vocabulary, reductions, and idioms learned. Note sections you found difficult and revisit them. Regular assessment helps identify weak points and ensures your ear training is effective and targeted. Now, let's cover advanced chunking for comprehension. For longer sentences, practice multi-level chunking. Primary chunk, main clause of the sentence. Secondary chunk, supporting phrases, adjectives, or clauses. Connectors, linking words like however, although, or as a result. For example, I was planning to submit the report yesterday, but due to unexpected revisions, I had to extend the deadline. Chunks, primary, I was planning to submit the report yesterday. Secondary, but due to unexpected revisions. Connector, I had to extend the deadline. Shadowing multi-level chunks trains your brain to process long sentences quickly, a skill crucial for understanding fast academic or professional English. Finally, let's discuss maintaining motivation and focus. Listening to fast English can be challenging, and consistency is key. Set clear goals. For example, understanding 90% of podcast content in 3 months. Reward progress. Celebrate milestones, like completing a 10-minute advanced clip. Track consistency. Use a calendar or app to mark daily practice. Stay curious. Choose topics you genuinely enjoy. It makes listening more engaging and effective. By combining structured routines, active practice, multi-context exposure, predictive listening, self-assessment, multi-level chunking, and motivation strategies, you create a complete listening mastery system. With consistent application, fast English will feel natural, effortless, and enjoyable. Welcome back to the final part of our masterclass. Now that you've learned every advanced technique, chunking, shadowing, prediction, vocabulary capture, multi-speaker practice, speed comprehension, real-time responses, and multi-context listening, it's time to synthesize all skills and focus on long-term mastery. In this section, we'll provide final strategies, tips for daily application, and advice to maintain C1, C2 listening fluency for life. Let's begin with reviewing the core principles that make fast English understandable. Chunking and shadowing. Breaking sentences into manageable pieces and repeating them aloud trains your brain to process speech in real time. Prediction and anticipation. Guessing what comes next accelerates comprehension and allows you to respond naturally. Vocabulary integration. Learning new words in context and linking them to mental images ensures instant recognition in fast speech. Multi-speaker and extended dialogue practice helps your brain switch attention quickly and process conversations as they happen in real life. Speed drills. Gradually increasing listening speed strengthens your ear and brain connection, making native speed English feel normal. Mastering these principles is the foundation. Without them, learners often feel lost when speech becomes fast or complex. With consistent practice, comprehension becomes automatic. Now, let's talk about advanced daily application. The goal is to make fast English a natural part of your life, not just a practice session. Here's a practical daily approach. Morning listening. Start your day with a short podcast, 5-10 minutes. Focus on main ideas, key phrases, and connectors. Active midday practice. Use a slightly longer clip, 10-15 minutes. Apply chunking, shadowing, and prediction. Take notes on vocabulary or idioms. Evening immersion. Watch a YouTube video, news report, or series for 15-20 minutes. Try to summarize orally or mentally. Shadow dialogue, note reductions, and capture expressions. This schedule exposes your brain to varied contexts, speeds, and voices, which strengthens your listening adaptability. Over time, you'll find that native speed English in movies, podcasts, or live conversations feels much easier to follow. Next, let's focus on integrating listening with speaking. Many learners can understand fast English but struggle to respond. To close this gap, shadow first. Repeat sentences as you hear them, matching pronunciation, stress, and intonation. Predict. Pause before the speaker finishes and anticipate what they'll say. Respond aloud. Use your own words to answer, describe, or comment. Check and refine. Compare your response to the original content to ensure accuracy and naturalness. This listen and respond cycle develops reflexive comprehension, which is crucial for real-life conversations, presentations, and interviews. Now, let's discuss mental techniques for sustained listening. Fast English can be overwhelming, especially in long conversations. To stay sharp, active focus. Instead of hearing words passively, ask yourself, who is speaking? What is their main point? What might come next? Predictive processing. Anticipate sentence endings, idioms, or connectors before they are spoken. Chunk recall. Mentally review phrases and sentences in your head as you listen. Short mental breaks. After intense listening for 10-15 minutes, pause briefly, stretch, or breathe deeply to maintain attention. These techniques keep your brain engaged and prevent fatigue, ensuring you can follow fast English for extended periods. Another key strategy is tracking progress and reflecting. Regular self-assessment ensures improvement. Record your shadowing sessions and compare them to the original. Note reductions, intonation patterns, and tricky vocabulary you've mastered. Keep a log of your comprehension improvements, percent of words understood, speed tolerance, and ability to summarize content. Adjust your practice routine based on challenges and goals. This continuous feedback loop accelerates learning and builds confidence in fast English. Let's also focus on real-world application across contexts. Professional meetings. Listen to business podcasts or webinars to get used to technical terms and formal speech. Social interactions. Watch vlogs, series, or casual conversations to learn idioms, slang, and natural expressions. Academic content. Use lectures or educational videos to train comprehension of formal and structured language. Entertainment. Movies and shows provide exposure to humor, cultural references, and reductions that are common in everyday speech. By combining all these types, your ear becomes flexible, adaptive, and fast, able to comprehend English in any situation. Finally, let's summarize your path to listening mastery. Consistency over intensity. Daily practice. Even short sessions is more effective than occasional long sessions. Active engagement. Always listen with focus, shadow, predict, and respond. Passive listening alone won't lead to mastery. Vocabulary and idioms in context. Capture words, phrases, and reductions while shadowing to strengthen memory. Speed variation. Gradually increase listening speed to challenge your brain. Real-life application. Apply techniques to conversations, podcasts, movies, lectures, and meetings. Reflect and adjust. Track progress, identify weaknesses, and revisit challenging content. Maintain motivation. Choose content you enjoy, set goals, and celebrate milestones. By following these steps consistently, you will understand fast English instantly, train your ears like a native, and confidently navigate conversations, media, and professional settings. In conclusion, mastering fast English is not about memorizing words, it's about training your brain and ears simultaneously. Use chunking, shadowing, prediction, multi-context exposure, vocabulary integration, speed drills, and real-time response. Make practice daily, varied, and engaging. Over time, fast English will feel effortless, comprehension will be instant, and speaking fluently will naturally follow. Thank you for completing this B1 to C2 English Masterclass with MindPop English. Apply these techniques consistently, enjoy the journey, and soon you'll experience the confidence and freedom of understanding English at native speed, in any context, anytime. Start practicing today with a short clip, apply chunking and shadowing, and see the difference in your listening skills. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more advanced English masterclasses from MindPop English.